Last time on the Leverage Lounge podcast. Welcome to the Leverage Lounge, where we help entrepreneurs build businesses that create freedom instead of burnout. Now, today's guest is my buddy, Coach Bobby Franchise. Bobby Davidowitz, CEO of the Alliance Group at eXp Realty. He's an investor, somebody who's an entrepreneur, but more importantly, he's somebody who's passionate about business owners and helping them think beyond the next commission check.
All right.
All right. So let's dive in. Now, listen, success doesn't always look like success. I know that before all of the success that people see of you today, you had some trials and tribulations yourself. So who was Bobby Davidowitz back then?
Lost. That's who he was. I always told this story about how up until I graduated from college, I thought I had a plan, but I really didn't. I was just kind of following what the world told me I was supposed to do. So literally graduated from college with a 4.0. Now I'm working at a nightclub doing bar back and cleaning up puke and throwing out trash. And so I knew that wasn't where I was supposed to stay, but at the time I just was like, have to sit here and figure out my direction. Now, the cool thing that happened during that time was, if you ever worked in a club or hospitality, you know that usually there's about 3 nights a week that you're really working, you know, where you make most of your money. In the club world, that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday type of thing. So I had a lot of free time during the week, and I started doing something called reading books. Now, there weren't just any books. I was lucky to have a friend to get me started on personal development books. The first one I read was called Who Moved My Cheese. It really set me off with this passion for reading again, which I had lost. The second thing that I did during that time with all that extra time was I joined a multi-level business. So there was an offshoot of Amway called Quick Start, and I joined that. And I really started to kind of understand that there's a whole nother world out there. And multi-levels, as you know, are very much growth oriented, which means they're personal development oriented. And they were feeding me more and more books. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich. Now I'm diving into the new mindset. So basically, as I'm kind of changing the mindset, I realized I'm like, I can't stay at this club. I got to get out of here. And I kind of drew a line in the sand. We talked about it today. It's like, not one more day, not one more hour. After this date, I'm out of this club, whether I have something figured out or not. So I made that decision. As you know, once you make a true decision, you know, you get a supernatural opening. And literally,
that's right.
I was at the gym and I was talking to this guy that I worked out with, and he's like, hey man, you ever thought about the mortgage business? And I was kind of like, you mean like a loan on a home? That's what it is.
Kind of what a mortgage is.
Like, I'm literally like not in the business world. And thank God, you know, I said yes to that. And that's how I got into real estate.
So you went through bankruptcy early in your career, right? As the story goes, like what happened and what did that season
Oh my
teach
gosh.
you?
It wasn't like it was so early in my career. It was actually after I had done some good stuff. And so I became one of the top producers where I was at. I was making 6 figures at a young age. I bought my first house. I was doing all the things. And then I decided to open up my own mortgage company with another guy. We did that for 4 years. And then at that point, there's this implosion of the financial world, the market crash. And to be quite honest with you, I was too young to say to myself, let me just stick with this even through the tough time, because I was one foot in, one foot out, because I really wanted to be in the entertainment business. So I said, well, God's telling me to go pursue that. I mean, the whole financial world imploding. So I did that. I had it in my mind that I had some money in the bank. I had about $200,000 of credit card that could be spent. Yeah,
oh, you were a problem. You were a problem. $200,000 on a credit card ready to go.
I was ready to rock.
I see nothing but space and opportunity.
So, you know, I went ahead, and here's the mistake that I made. And this is for everybody out there, especially if you're in your 20s and you're younger, is stop thinking in 2-year terms and start thinking in 10-year terms. And I just didn't have a lot of mentorship, and nobody ever told me to do that. Nobody was ever guiding me in that way. So I really thought, Mike, that by 2 years, bro, I'd be raking in money in the entertainment game somehow, some way. Like, okay, I'm going to take on all this debt, but we'll figure it out. No problem. Didn't figure it out. And so luckily I had a business partner at the time. We were doing some real estate stuff, and he said, hey man, you really got to think about bankruptcy. He goes, I had to do it when I was 19 years old. And this is important. He said, there's no shame in it, Bobby. It's a business decision. You're in a bad position, and the last thing you want to do is get down to your final dollar and be asking your dad for money. And so it taught me that one market go in cycles. And so that was one of my first investment lessons, was like, dang, I was like, okay, Yeah, some people lost real big, but some people won real big. I want to be the guy that wins real big the next time.
Money is made
Yes.
in every single cycle. Whether the market is going up or the market is going down, people are making money. Your job is just to figure out how to capitalize on both sides of the coin.
Now that we're in a situation, the market's a little funky. I'm starting to see those type of things happening, and now I'm better prepared. In some cases, excited. It really sucks, but like a lot of people are going to go through a lot of pain. You already know my feelings on politics, but what was promised, this thing that it was going to be a magic switch to lower prices and lower gas and no wars. Well, it's the opposite. Yeah. So there's more volatility coming, more pain, but like, if you know that, then you can anticipate it and you can plan for it. And that's what I learned from the first cycle.
Be sure to catch the Leverage Lounge podcast live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on YouTube.